wheat does not grow here in Florida, at least not very well, and I haven't really seen it. But here I am having a big YouTube channel talking about how important it is to be milling our wheat, to be baking with real whole grains, and I've been doing this for well over a decade, and I have yet to see a wheat field. I have actually never once seen the entire process. The wheat growing out in the fields that then is harvested and brought home to my house where I'm able to make my delicious breads with freshly milled wheat. That is until now. So with this video, I'm going to be taking y'all on my proverbial pilgrimage to Mecca. Oh yes, I can now say that I have seen those amber waves of grain. Hey y'all, welcome back to Grains and Grit. My name is Felicia, and on this channel, you know what we do? We talk all things real whole grains, all from a biblical perspective. Yes, that's right. 4 Generations Organic Farms, who I've mentioned on this channel before, so graciously invited me all the way out to Oklahoma to actually see their wheat fields, but not just see the wheat fields. I had to see the wheat literally right before harvest. And y'all, I have to say, it was life-changing. And I know that may sound silly, but trust me, it truly was a life-changing experience. And if you have actually seen a wheat field, if you live near the breadbasket in the United States, if you've seen this, be sure to comment below. Let me know which farms that you have seen, what wheat berries they're growing, or what grains they're growing. I would love to know. But in the meantime, I'm actually going to take you on my little journey that this Florida girl took all the way up to Oklahoma to our beloved breadbasket of the United States. The next time you mill your wheat and bake your bread, I hope that after this video, you will have far more of an appreciation for it and the amazing, awesome people that help make it happen. But there I was in little Alva, Oklahoma, your quintessential small town USA. Now, after meeting up with 4 Generations Organic Farms team at their store, which we will be touring in a bit, you're gonna wanna check that out, we went straight to the wheat fields. First stop was their field of Yakora wheat, and my first thought was, this is it. I have to say, it was kind of not really a letdown, but I just was really surprised at how short Yakora wheat is. This was only like a foot tall. This is extremely short, but apparently very normal for Yakora wheat. But then we went to this. Absolutely beautiful. And yes, I had a bit of a moment of awe seeing the hundreds of acres of this beautiful wheat. Again, not those super tall amber waves of grain, but this is their Butler's Gold, which is a hard red wheat, organically grown. And it was beautiful. I mean, walking through the wheat fields, sunny skies, wind blowing with an occasional car going by, it was just so peaceful. I really could have just stayed here for a few hours. I mean, give me a camp chair and I'm good to go. Now, this is where I really got a great education from Bob, whose family has owned 4 Generations Organic Farms for, you guessed it, 4 generations. He showed me the ideal amount of wheat berries they're looking for on the wheat. So the wheat farmers do check. They go out and they check to see how many berries are basically in a row on the wheat berries. So this is, hopefully you can see this on video, but for each row of berries, he was actually thrilled to see 4 berries, which is already really good. And we even saw several that had 5 on each row, which is excellent. So they were super happy to see that. Now, be sure to stay tuned because I know in this video you've just seen Bob, but you'll also be meeting all the other team members of 4 Generations Farm as well. Now, after touring the field and telling my husband that I definitely wanted to come back, we then went to 4 Generations, basically their original home site, which is also their home base of operations as well. So in case you didn't catch that, we're gonna back that up. This is the original land that 4 generations ago was settled during the Oklahoma land rush of 1893. I don't know if you've read Little House on the Prairie. I love the Little House on the Prairie series, but if you've specifically read On the Banks of Plum Creek, Laura and her family lived in a dugout, and I got to see one. I sort of did. Like, I sort of saw the original dugout. What you can see now is it's caved in, but this was Bob's great-grandfather who first came out here, settled this. He dug this by hand. We also got to see the pond that he dug by hand as well, and where the well used to be, which was by the dugout. And to actually just stand there and look around and imagine I'm back in the 1800s And all that it is this beautiful blue sky and prairie grass as far as the eye can see. I was in such a historical place. I mean, people came here. This is our pioneer history, the United States, our American pioneer history. And I was standing in a very significant part of that. And it made me appreciate our pioneer ancestors way more, knowing that they were there with no Walmart and no lumber store and no cell phones. And I mean, you brought the clothes on your back and whatever food you had, and that's pretty much it. I have a whole new appreciation for them. And comment below if you consider yourself a modern pioneer, which hint, if you're milling your wheat and baking that bread with freshly milled wheat, you're a modern pioneer. Totally counts. All right, so back to the modern world. So again, we're still on the original 160 acres of the original homestead, and they've set up buildings. This is where they keep the tractors and all of the big dog equipment. And this is where I really wish I'd brought my children, because they would have been flipping out. Needless to say, we've come a long way since the horse and the plow. Now, I learned some really super cool things about 4 Generations Organic Farms that I did not know before. And it really impressed me. And the main thing that impressed me is they are obvious good stewards of not only the land that God has given them, that they have been blessed with, but they are good stewards in all of their equipment and everything that they have. Number one, all of their equipment is stored out of the elements. As a Floridian who knows all about the destructive properties of sun and water, I know that this can wreak havoc on machinery. And I'm frequently amazed at how many tractors I see around my rural area that are just left outside in the elements, and they're not even shaded. And if you were just to see the top of my van, it is very obvious the damage that sun can do. Now, everything also was just so clean and so well taken care of. The floors where these massive tractors are, you can't even imagine how big they are just on the video. They were absolutely spotless. And I never would have guessed that these tractors go out into the dirt. I mean, look at them. It looks like a showroom floor. Like, it honestly looks like a showroom floor. They are massive. And again, my children would have absolutely freaked out seeing all of them. And you also wouldn't believe it when you see it, but most of these tractors and equipment are not brand new, like not even close. In fact, when we first got there, I met this guy who you will meet later on, and he was working on restoring a tractor that was bought in the 1900s, which now sounds so old, but it was really just 1990. But to say back in the 1900s, that's depressing. But anyway, you wouldn't believe it that it was 30-something years old. What they were doing is they were just doing what they do quite regularly, is that they are breaking it down. They are completely restoring it, replacing all the things, repainting it, everything. And it already looks like a brand new tractor, and they're not even done with it. 4 Generations mindset, I noticed, is they do not have the mindset of, oh, we can just go buy new. They buy actually what most people would consider junk or trash, and then they just fix it up. Now, when I first learned of 4 Generations Organic Farms, I actually was pleasantly surprised at the affordability of organic grains that were clean, that were excellent quality. I love using them. They're shipped to my house and they are well packaged. And I was actually surprised, and I mentioned it to y'all, that yeah, they're affordable when it comes to organic grains. And I really realized why they can keep it so affordable. And that's because they're just smart people. They're smart businessmen that allow them to run their entire farm completely debt-free, which, if you've talked to a farmer, is astounding to hear of a farmer being debt-free in this modern world, because most of the farmers that I've met, sadly, are usually in debt up to their eyeballs. And I have no doubt that they will easily make it to the 5th generation. All right, so back to the farm. We're not going to go in order to exactly see what happens to the wheatberry. We're journey of the wheatberry. We're going to see how it gets planted, harvested, stored, and packed up to be sent to all of us home millers here at home. Now, of course, to start, you got to plant the wheat. So you're about to see Sarah, who we will officially meet later on, who's actually going to explain to us what they do to get all this wheat planted. Okay.
Yeah, this will be hooked up to the tractor. That'll be hooked behind this. And this is what actually goes in, and these will spit out seeds underneath there. And so those row, that's what makes your rows. And it'll dispense the seed. It falls through these little tubes. And still keeps the seed in there.
So do y'all really just kind of, when you're ready to plant, just pull out from bins here, and that's what you use to plant?
Okay. This just gets filled up with wheat. And yeah, each tube fills up and spits it out.
So yeah, I have to say, I know it sounds stupid that I was a little surprised to see how easy it was. Like they plant the wheat, they just pull from their wheat berries that they have stored and they put it in there and they plant it. It seems so simple. God's design truly is amazing. Now, they plant at different parts of the year depending on the wheat that they are growing. And then, of course, they get on the massive tractors to harvest it, which, by the way, Sarah actually drives one of those tractors, the behemoth tractors. You go, girl. Now, while they are harvesting their equipment also is threshing that wheat, which is removing it from the husk. And once harvested, it goes into these huge, massive grain silos, which, if I remember right, holds about 5,000 bushels each. But I was once again super surprised by how the grains were already mostly clean straight from the grain silos. Now, they do have other cleaners to clean the grain further, but it was pretty good, actually. Just straight from the field and into those silos. I was quite surprised. Now, as you can see here, they use augers to then just pump the grain out of the silos. They open up a little slatch there, grain falls out, and then it is somehow pumped up with these augers to trucks to be shipped to wherever it is they need to go, or back to their own warehouse to be shipped to us home millers, as you will see later. And when you think about it, it is such a simple and honest process. But you plant the wheat, you fertilize it, you let it grow, you pray for rain, and then you harvest it. You clean the grains, and this is a staff of life that has been going on for thousands of years. It really just seems like such a simple process. All right, so after the harvest, now what? How does the wheat get to us home millers? Well, this is where you really get that special touch from 4 Generations Organic Farms that I was just really amazed and very surprised to actually see how personal of a touch that they give. And of course, I got to meet the special people that work there. Hey y'all, so we're here. This is the storefront of 4 Generations Organic Farms that you yourself can come and visit if you are in Alva, Oklahoma. So now we're gonna actually go inside and see what you're gonna see. So I will say I love what they've done with this area because they have the wheat berries. You can actually see an example of wheat berries. Do not neglect this table because this has some really great information, kind of their history and also their reports that they're the lab reports of like the protein and the wheat berries and stuff. So this is a great table. Love this. And then here you can just see where they have their flour out. This is to show because they are suppliers to King Arthur Flour. But here we have the Butler's Gold. We have their wheat durum as well. They are also suppliers to Barton Springs Mill. That's why that's there. And then their buckets and stickers, so just other things that they have, their aprons, their tumblers. But yeah, of course they have more than this. So don't freak out if you're wanting more than one bucket. They've got it. But we're actually gonna come in here. And in here we actually have Miss Adriana, who you have probably interacted with if you've ordered from 4 Generations Organic Farms. So Adriana, tell us a little bit about what you do here and how long you've been working.
Yes, so Adriana, I am one of your customer service reps. I do some office admin and also some marketing. I've been here actually working for Bob for just 8 months, but it's been a wonderful experience, great culture, great family.
And I work with her a lot too. So as an affiliate, she's who talks to me and I love her. So thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
we're gonna go in here to see the really cool shipping facilities that they have. So whenever you order online, what that looks like out here. Okay, so the wheat has just been harvested and they bring the wheat to this massive warehouse right here. And most likely if you've ordered online, Sarah here is actually going to be the one who packs your orders. And this is their really cool packing station. So everyone, this is Sarah. So most likely if someone's ordered online, you have personally packed their order. So let us know what all you do here and how long you've been working here.
Yes, so my name is Sarah. I've worked for Bob since I was probably 15, 16, quite some time. I've actually been everywhere here on the farm. I can run a tractor, grain cart, pretty much any of the heavy equipment. Other than that, yeah, every kind of day I'm just in the shop printing off orders. So yeah, once we print off those labels, we'll come out here. This is our little packing station here. And other than that, let's pack a a bag of wheat.
Alrighty. So this is such a personalized touch that I love with Four Generations. It's such a change from your typical mass production. As you can see, she's putting a sticker in on every single bag individually. They stamp every single one. They write on every single one. Same with their buckets as well. So when you order from their website, you're getting this personalized touch. And Sarah over here is probably the one filling your order, and that's her handwriting that you see. And these are resealable bags. And then I love how they put that estate grown label at the very end, which means that they actually grew the wheat themselves. They are not just reselling someone else's wheat. And then she also handles the massive big bulk orders. These are like a 2,000 pound tote. A whole lot of grain goes in these babies. So this is Braden. Do not be deceived by his super chilled and humble demeanor. This guy is a mechanical genius, in my opinion. So when I first met him, I asked him what he did, and he said, well, I just sweep the floors. And if that's code for fully restoring tractors and farm equipment to their original glory, then yeah, that's what he does. He's also been working here for about a decade as well. Thank you so very much to Andrea, Sarah, and Braden for so patiently allowing me to film them. And do know, for those of you who are part of my Granny Bunch special treat, I did get to sit down with Bob for a much longer interview. He is the fourth generation of Fourth Generations Organic Farms, and he talked to me more about the history and more details of his farm. So those of you part of the Granny Bunch, be sure to check out your member portal soon to see that video. Oh, and I forgot to mention another super important member of the Four Generations Organic Farms family, and that is the barn cats. With a lot of grains means a lot of unwanted rodents. So these guys and gals are some of the unsung heroes who keep the farm clean from all those pesky varmints. So there is truly something in a way sacred about standing in a field of wheat, knowing that this is the staff of life. This is what has sustained our ancestors for thousands of years. This is what Jesus ate. This is what Jesus compared himself to. And it's just amazing. And also to see, finally, the amber waves of grain that we sing about in our American songs. I hope y'all enjoyed coming along with me on this tour of the American Midwest. And I know I learned so much more. I thought I knew a lot in regards to real wheat, but I learned even so much more coming here. So they will be harvesting in a few weeks. So all of this wheat is going to be available at Four Generations Organic Farms. And to shop with them, to grab this wheat right here in a few weeks, just go to grainsandgrit.com/4generations. Grains and Grit is the coupon code where you can get 10% off your first order. And these grains are cleaned and packaged by Sarah, and Adriana helps, and all the people that you've met today. Just know that they had a part in the bread that you make at home. So thank y'all so very much again for coming with me. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week. Bye.